The movie begins by showing a girl named Mari who has just woken up and feels something is wrong with her. After looking in the mirror, she seems surprised because it turns out that what is inside her body is not her soul but the soul of a young man named Isao, who somehow is trapped inside her body. In the past, Isao was a university student living in Tokyo who never came to college, and chose to shut himself down in his apartment while playing games. When Isao entered college 3 years ago, he realized he had no friends. While all his friends made their groups, Isao always thought they were always talking about him. For years, Isao kept himself in his room until, one day, he met a high school girl named Mari at a convenience store. Mari always came to the convenience store at the same time every day. She indirectly made Isao's life more colorful because of her presence, so Isao referred to Mari as the angel. One day, as usual, Isao always came at the same time as Mari and secretly watched her. After that, Isao decided to follow Mari, who was about to return home. When Mari turned her head towards Isao, a miraculous event happened. Switching to the present, Isao realizes that he has been trapped inside Mari's body, and knows her name after he finds Mari's identity card in her room. While having breakfast with Mari's family, Isao looks a little awkward, so he asks permission to go to the toilet and asks where the bathroom is in the house. Mari's parents are certainly confused and find it strange that Mari doesn't know where the toilet is in her home. Once inside the toilet, Isao apologized to Mari because he was forced to peek at Mari's body while urinating. At the same time, Isao also felt strange and embarrassed because it was the first time he had experienced urinating with a high school girl's body. When he was in front of the mirror, Isao thought that he had exchanged bodies with Mari. This means that Mari's soul is now in Isao's body. Isao then went to Mari's school and felt awkward with the atmosphere and people around him. After class, Isao and Mari's friends met in the girls' restroom. Mari's friends thought that she looked strange and often daydreamed there. After Mari's friends were about to leave, Isao, who was inside Mari's body, told them he still wanted to be in the toilet. Suddenly, a girl named Yuri appeared from inside the toilet stall next to Isao, and questioned Mari's habits. Yuri found out that Mari never spoke in a cute tone or called her friends using honorifics. As Isao was about to leave the toilet, Yuri stopped him and asked about Mari's birthday, shoe size, and personal things. Hearing this, Isao then revealed that the soul inside Mari's body was not Mari's soul but Isao, an ordinary young man who decided to quit college. Isao then tells Yuri about the miraculous event that caused him to be in Mari's body. Isao then asked Yuri to help him. However, Yuri scolded Isao and told him to return Mari's back, because Yuri did not believe his words at all. Yuri also urges Isao to take her to his apartment to prove that he is not lying. Upon arriving at his apartment, Isao could easily open the door and go inside. He then showed Yuri his identity card to prove he was not lying. Shortly after, Isao, who was by the window, saw himself walking home, so he and Yuri rushed to get out. In haste, Yuri stumbles and accidentally sees a pile of adult comics hidden by Isao. Quickly, Yuri closed the eyes of Isao who was inside Mari's body, because Yuri didn't want Mari's innocent eyes to see the adult comics. After that, they rushed out of the apartment, and in the end, they were caught by Isao in his own body. Isao, who was in Mari's body, asked if the young man was Mari. However, the man looked confused and seemed to know nothing about the girl named Mari. He also rushed into his apartment and assumed that Yuri and Isao who were in Mari's body were the freak people. Realizing that the real Isao knows nothing about the events he experienced, Isao, who is in Mari's body, decides to investigate. Isao then took Yuri to Mari's house and asked her to help him. Arriving at Mari's room, Yuri immediately looks for clues and finds a box containing shopping receipts that Mari collects every time she shops at the convenience store. At the same time, Mari's younger brother, Shinji, suddenly entered Mari's room and was very surprised to see Yuri and his sister. Shinji accidentally dropped the pile of adult comics he was carrying. He looks panicked and blames Mari for having the adult comics, so he is tempted to read them. After Mari's brother came out of the room, Yuri was surprised to see a box filled with Mari's adult comic collection. Isao then realized that the adult comics collected by Mari were a collection of adult comics he had always bought at a bookstore. Hearing this, Yuri decided to go to the store to ensure. At night, Isao and Yuri ventured to go to the bookstore. Yuri asked the shopkeeper, who said that Mari always came to the bookstore and bought adult comics. Yuri and Isao were very surprised to hear that because they did not expect Mari to buy adult comics. Arriving home, Isao assumed that Mari had always bought the books he had purchased. However, Yuri denies it because she doesn't believe that Mari buys adult comics, even to the point of collecting them. When Yuri is about to say goodbye, Mari's mother, Eriko, tells Yuri to have dinner first. Eriko even asked Yuri to stay overnight at their house. Because she felt reluctant to refuse her request, Yuri finally agreed. While Yuri was bathing, Isao prepared a towel and a change of clothes for Yuri. Yuri then asked if Isao had ever seen Mari's body. Isao quickly replied that he had never seen Mari's body and always closed his eyes when she was naked. Isao did it all because he thought Mari was very precious to him. Hearing that, Yuri felt jealous of Isao being in Mari's body and questioned why it wasn't her who was in Mari's body. At night, Yori, who had not fallen asleep, tried to approach Isao, who was in bed. At that time, Isao, pretending to be asleep, suddenly had a vision of Mari and Yori's past when they were in the medical room. Mari, who realized that Yori was moody, then asked Yori to come closer to her, and the two of them hugged. The next day, Yori and Isao prepare to go to school. Yori then put on Mari's makeup like Mari used to do, because Isao, who was inside Mari's body, couldn't do that. Before leaving for school, Yori asks Isao not to talk to her at school because Mari never does that. Yori also invites Isao to look for more information after school. At school, Mari's friends are seen inviting her to go to karaoke after school. Isao, inside Mari's body, initially refuses the invitation because he has an appointment with Yori. But Mari's friends continue to force Mari to come along, so Isao is forced to agree. After school, Isao and Mari's friends were at a cafe. Soon, the boys came to the place and joined them. It was the first time Isao had experienced hanging out with friends. When the boys talked about games, Isao, who liked games, shared his opinions with them. While at the karaoke place, Mari's friends asked Mari to sing. To avoid their suspicions, Isao, who was inside Mari's body, had no choice but to agree. The male students look very enthusiastic and interested in Mari without realizing that the one inside Mari's body is Isao. At the same time, one of Mari's friends, a girl named Momoka, is upset to see Mari being the center of attention among her friends. On the other hand, Yori secretly followed them and eavesdropped on their conversation from the next room. When she saw Isao coming out of the karaoke room with a happy look on his face, Yori immediately pulled Isao into the room and confronted him. Yori was annoyed that Isao was having fun using Mari's body. Not long after, Momoka comes into the room and meets them. Momoka is very upset and thinks Mari has humiliated her because Mari made Hiroki, one of the male students who are Momoka's boyfriend, have fun with Mari. From then on, Mari was shunned by her friends, who didn't know that the one inside Mari's body was Isao. On the way home, Isao feels upset and sad about everything happening. Isao became even worse when he realized that Mari suddenly had her period and felt pain in her stomach. The next day at school, Isao tried to apologize to Yori when they were in the toilet. However, his apology was ignored by Yori, who had just left the toilet. When Isao is about to chase her, he is intercepted by Momoka and her friends. Momoka says that she was very sad after discovering that Hiroki had secretly sent Mari a message. Isao then tries to explain and apologize to Momoka and her friends. However, Mari's friends refuse to forgive Mari because they think Mari is trying to snatch Hiroki from Momoka. After school, Isao is surprised by the arrival of Hiroki, who is already in Mari's room. Isao tries to get Hiroki out of Mari's room, but Hiroki reveals that he has broken up with Momoka and wants to date Mari. Hiroki then kisses Mari, which suddenly makes Isao angry and beats Hiroki. Not long after, Eriko appears to stop her daughter, who continues to beat Hiroki. However, Isao accidentally pushed Mari's mother to the ground. After Hiroki leaves, Isao cries and reveals to Eriko that she is not Mari but a young man named Isao. Sometime later, Isao was seen just spending time in Mari's bed. Eriko arrives with food and tries to convince her daughter that she is Mari, not someone else, even though Isao has revealed that he is not Mari but a young man named Isao. When she left the room, Eriko looked suspicious, as if she was hiding something. At night, Isao, who was in Mari's body, then went to see the real Isao playing games in his apartment. Not long after, Yori appeared behind Isao and greeted him. The two of them chatted, and Isao apologized to Yori while promising he would change. Yori, who saw the real Isao in his room while continuing to play games, then said that Isao could not possibly change and told him to return to Mari's house immediately. Before Isao goes home, Yori gives a paper with Mari's handwriting. Yori assumes that Mari used to watch Isao from that place. Hearing this, Isao decided to go to the real Isao, who was at his place of residence. Upon entering the room, the real Isao looks scared because he was visited by two girls he doesn't recognize. Isao then explained that he was trapped in Mari's body while giving a note in Mari's handwriting to the real Isao, who looked still confused by the nonsensical conversation. Isao, who was in Mari's body, asked if the young man remembered anything about Mari. However, the real Isao insists that he doesn't know Mari. Yori, who saw that, thought that when Isao switched bodies with Mari, the real Isao might have lost his memory of Mari. Isao invited the real Isao to reconstruct the events that caused Isao's soul to be in Mari's body. Despite reconstructing the incident, they have yet to get any clues. Isao remains in Mari's body, while the real Isao also still doesn't remember anything. The three of them finally return to Isao's apartment. Isao then asked the real Isao to play a game together. They both seemed to enjoy the game while Yori cleaned up the trash in Isao's room. Seeing that Yori was alone, Isao invited her to join him, and the three of them had fun while playing the game. After that, Isao returned to Mari's house and was greeted by Mari's parents, who did not know that Isao was inside their daughter's body. Eriko then told her daughter that she would pay more attention to Mari. However, in the middle of the conversation, Eriko had an argument with her husband. At the same time, Isao also realized that Mari had been feeling depressed by her life at home and at school. Therefore, Mari always noticed Isao enjoying his life casually, and made her jealous of Isao, who seemed to have no problems in his life. Unable to stand the argument, Isao stopped the argument and said that Mari's parents were very selfish. Isao left them and went to Mari's room feeling sad. In the room, Isao, who saw Mari's body in the mirror, began to desire to touch Mari's body so that he could merge with Mari in one body. But Isao then abandoned his intention after hearing a little girl's voice. Not long after, Isao was very surprised when he got a call claiming to be the real Mari. In the morning, while Isao was still in bed and thinking about the call from Mari the night before, Isao suddenly got a call from Yori saying that she was going to the convenience store again to look for other clues. At school, Isao, who was in Mari's body, tried to do his activity as usual. During a lunch break, Isao goes to the toilet and tries to touch Mari's body. But before Isao does that, Yori suddenly enters the bathroom to talk about something. Not long after, Isao came out of the toilet to meet Momoka and Mari's friends. Momoka then apologizes for the previous incident and asks Mari to be friends with her again because Hiroki has returned to dating Momoka. Momoka also says that she has no problem with Hiroki kissing Mari. As Momoka extends her hand to shake, Yori suddenly comes out of the restroom, brushes Momoka's hand away, and then invites Mari to leave the place. However, they were both prevented by Momoka, who asked Mari to rejoin Mari's friends because Mari was her best friend. An annoyed Yori then told Momoka that Momoka was not Mari's best friend. Momoka and Yori ended up fighting. Isao then tries to protect Yori, who will be attacked by Momoka, and says that he decided not to be friends with Momoka and Mari's friends anymore and prefers to be friends with Yori. Hearing that, Momoka and her friends were upset and left them. Isao then tells Yori about him getting a call from the real Mari the night before and reveals his desire to touch Mari's body. Yori scolds Isao for doing inappropriate things to Mari's body. Yori thinks that Isao is also not much different from Momoka, who likes to take advantage of people. Isao explains that he means no harm to Mari's body, but he wants to merge with Mari's body. Yori still seemed annoyed with Isao because Mari was someone special to her. Isao also asked why Yori never talked to Mari at school and tried to be her friend. From Yori's explanation, Isao realizes that Yori doesn't speak to Mari, not because she is afraid of Momoka but because Yori is afraid that Mari will find out about her true self. Isao then invites Yori to stay at Mari's house because he is sure that the real Mari will contact him again. When the two of them were in front of Yori's house, Yori asked Isao to wait outside while she got her stuff. Because of the long wait, Isao tried to catch up with Yori and unknowingly entered Yori's house. Isao saw Yori preparing her clothes and also saw Yori's older sister, whose name happened to be Mari. Yori's sister also greeted Isao, who was in Mari's body, in a friendly manner, and engaged in a brief conversation with him. Yori, who realized Isao was in her house, told Isao to come out. When they were both outside, Yori scolded Isao for being presumptuous by entering her house. Because of this, Yori became very upset and decided not to stay at Mari's house. Later that night, a frustrated Isao decided to meet the real Isao and tell him about Isao and Mari's body getting a call from Mari when he was about to touch Mari's body. Hearing that, the real Isao started fantasizing about Mari, so he decided to go to the toilet. Isao, who saw him, felt suspicious and soon realized what the real Isao was going to do. Isao then opened the toilet door and helped the real Isao to satisfy his desire. After that, Isao returned to Mari's house and seemed to regret his actions. The next day, Isao and Yori are seen making up and chatting in a park. Isao apologizes, and Yori seems to have no problem with it because she also realizes that all this time, she was also like Mari, who could only watch Isao from a distance. Yori tells him that her older sister has always gotten all the attention from everyone, while she has always been ignored. Therefore, Yori created a wall of separation between herself and her older sister. However, that all started to change when Yori met Mari in the school health room. At that time, Mari was willing to accept Yori as she was. Isao then tells Yori the details of Yori and Mari's meeting in the medical room. Yori was surprised that Isao knew about it even though Yori had never told anyone. Isao explained that he had a vision of the incident when Yori was sleeping beside him. After telling everything, Isao was also surprised because he could remember the events of that time in great detail. On the other hand, Yori thinks that the real Mari might be sleeping in her own body. Yori looks delighted because she can finally meet Mari again even though Mari hasn't returned completely. At home, Isao, who was in Mari's body, was still thinking about Yori's words that the honest Mari might just be sleeping in her body, which indicated that there were two souls in one body. At the same time, Isao is getting frustrated with everything that is happening, so henceforth Isao will refer to himself as Mari because he is in Mari's body, who is a woman. Sometime later, Mari got a call from Isao, who told her to look out the window. When she opened the window, she saw that Isao was downstairs, which surprised Mari. Isao suddenly expressed his feelings if he liked Mari. Mari replied that the two of them were the same person. However, Isao doesn't believe that and promises to change for the better for Mari's sake. Mari then assumes that Isao is saying that because Isao wants to do what they did before. Mari again explains that what she did before was not because she liked Isao, but because she was disgusted by it. After hearing that, Isao became heartbroken and decided to leave Mari's house. On the other hand, Mari also looks sad after saying this to Isao. Meanwhile, at school, Yori ventured to talk to Mari, which surprised Mari because previously, Yori had forbidden Mari to speak with her. Yori seems to have ignored this and invited Mari to lunch together. During lunch, Mari thought that Yori's attitude was a little strange because Yori was very attentive to her. After school, Mari and Yori go to karaoke, and Mari still feels weird about Yori's attentiveness to her. Yori explains that she did it for the real Mari, who is still asleep inside Mari's body, and Yori hopes that the real Mari can wake up and return to being herself as before. Mari became increasingly confused with herself. Not long after, Mari received a phone call, and the caller's voice was very similar to hers. The caller asked Mari not to find Isao disgusting and pay more attention to Isao. After hanging up the phone, Mari immediately rushed to Isao's place. Arriving at Isao's apartment, Mari immediately hit Isao after finding out that the phone call was Isao's doing. Mari asks why Isao did all that. Isao replied that he only wanted Mari. Isao also reveals he felt strange when Mari came to his apartment and claimed to be Isao. Mari then explains that she will never love Isao. Hearing that, Isao asks why Mari would do that if she doesn't love Isao. Yori, who was there, became curious about what Mari had done with Isao. Isao then told Yori about Mari helping Isao satisfy his desires. Yori looked very angry after hearing the story and tried to hit Isao. However, Mari managed to stop her until she accidentally kissed Yori. Yori, who was misbehaving, then left Isao's place. A few days later, Mari was seen playing a game with her younger brother, Shinji. Mari tells Shinji that she is not Mari, but Shinji says that Mari is still Mari, and Mari is his sister. Shortly afterward, they were looking at their family photo album. At that time, Mari found a picture of a little girl with a tear mark on the picture. When looking at the picture, Mari suddenly had a vision of an older woman who called her by the name Fumiko, and without realizing it, Mari cried afterward. Mari immediately went to her mother while showing the photo and asked her mother about Fumiko. But her mother said she didn't know Fumiko and asked Mari to have dinner soon. The next day, Mari went to Yori's house, but Yori wasn't home. Mari immediately rushes to find Yori. While she was looking for Yori in the park, Mari received a call from Yori's sister, who said that Mari didn't need to look for Yori anymore because she would look for her. However, Mari assured Yori's sister that she would still help look for Yori, which made Yori's sister feel grateful that Yori had a good friend like Mari. After hanging up, Mari finally found Yori in the park and immediately approached Yori. Yori then apologized to Mari and asked about who kissed her when they were at Isao's place because, in Mari's body, there was Isao's soul and Mari's soul. Mari couldn't answer Yori's question because she couldn't recognize herself either until Mari suddenly expressed her feelings towards Yori. Mari then took Yori home, and they accidentally met Yori's sister, who was very worried about Yori. Seeing her sister, who was very worried about her, Yori apologized to her sister, and they hugged. The next day, Mari and Yori go home together. Mari reveals that she still needs to find a clue to know her real identity because the one who called her was Isao. Mari also remembers the photo she found and shows it to Yori. Mari explains that when she saw the picture, she remembered riding the Ferris wheel with an older woman who turned out to be her grandmother, who always called her by the name Fumiko. Mari wondered if maybe those were Mari's memories and if Mari was really in her body. Hearing Mari's words, Yori invites her to go to the place in the photo. Upon arriving at the amusement park, Mari tells Yori that her grandmother passed away when she was 3 years old. After that, Yori invites Mari to ride the Ferris wheel so that she can regain her memory. In the Ferris wheel, Mari's memories slowly began to return. Mari saw her younger self enjoying her vacation with her grandmother, and at that time, her grandmother called her by the name Fumiko. After that, Mari saw Eriko scolding her father because her mother was upset with Mari's grandmother for giving Mari the name Fumiko. The younger Mari heard the argument at that time, making her very sad. Sometime later, after Mari's grandmother's death, her mother changed her name to Mari. Initially, Mari disagreed, but because her mother insisted, Mari finally changed her name. Switching to the present, Mari, who had gotten her memories of Fumiko, and her grandmother, finally fainted. At Mari's house, Yori was waiting for Mari to wake up. After some time, Mari finally woke up and held Yori's face. Seeing this, Yori questioned who was inside Mari. The scene then switches and shows another dimension inside Mari's body, where Mari and Isao appear to be there. Isao seems happy that Mari is in front of him. But when Mari approaches Isao, she pushes him away and tells him to disappear. The next day, Yori, who had woken up, tried to see Mari's condition and was very surprised to find Mari staring at her with a blank look, as if Mari had no soul in her body. Yori felt sad because she thought she had lost Mari, while Eriko looked frustrated because her daughter ignored her words and only remained silent with an expressionless face. Sometime later, Yori went to Isao's place but didn't find Isao there. Yori went to the convenience store where Isao and Mari met and saw Isao working at convenience store. During break time, Isao and Yori talk near the convenience store. Yori asked why Isao was working there. Isao replies that he wants to change to get a better future. Isao then asked how Mari was doing, and Yori replied that Mari had lost the figure of Isao in her. Isao asks Yori to stop the story because he doesn't believe that Isao is inside Mari's body. Angrily, Yori asked if Isao didn't understand anything about Mari, and Yori left the place. Yori then returns to her house and finds a photo of herself with Mari. Not long after, her sister approached her, and they talked until Yori finally had the spirit again to help Mari find her true self. The next day, Yori seemed excited to go to Mari's house. After Mari's mother opened the door for her, Yori went straight into the house and headed to Mari's room. Eriko, who saw this, was surprised and hurried to follow Yori. After arriving at Mari's room, Yori immediately hugged Mari and promised she would save Mari while calling Mari by the name Isao. On the other hand, Eriko didn't care about Yori calling her daughter Isao and said that Mari was still Mari. Hearing that, Yori became upset and showed a photo of the younger Mari and questioned Mari's mother about Fumiko's name. Eriko admitted that she had changed her daughter's name after Mari's grandmother died. The two argued because Yori thought Mari's mother didn't care about her daughter, but Eriko denied all that and emphasized that she was attentive to Mari. As the argument intensifies, Mari suddenly comes to her senses and holds her mother's hand. Mari revealed that she was terrified, so Yori immediately hugged Mari. The scene then switches to another dimension inside Mari's body, where Mari is seen waking up Isao. In addition to the two of them, Fumiko is seen who comes crying and saying that she is lost. Mari also invites Fumiko to find her home together. But when they were about to leave, Isao stopped Mari and asked her to come back because Yori was waiting for her. But Mari apologizes for reading Isao's diary and leaves with Fumiko. Isao doesn't understand the meaning of Mari's words until he finally regains consciousness in Mari's body. A few days later, Mari asked Yori to stay at her house. Mari then asked Yori to sleep next to her while telling Yori that she should be more familiar with Isao, who was in her body, because Mari might disappear forever. The next day, Mari plans to visit Isao and find the young man's diary. But Yori forbids Mari from doing so because she doesn't want to lose Isao in Mari's body. After Yori left for school, Mari rushed to Isao's place because she wanted to read Isao's diary, and found Isao's diary in front of the apartment door. In the afternoon, Yori was seen returning from school. When Yori was in front of her house, Mari was waiting while carrying Isao's diary. At that time, Mari said that she had not read the diary and told Yori that Isao was on vacation in his hometown. Mari then invited Yori to visit Isao in his hometown. After a long journey, Mari and Yori finally arrive at Isao's hometown and rush to see Isao. When the three of them were in Isao's room, Mari revealed that the atmosphere in Isao's hometown and also Isao's mother felt strange to her, which indicated that the one inside Mari's body at this time was the real Mari. Mari then took out Isao's diary. The surprised Isao tried to take it, but Yori stopped Isao and told him to get out because Isao would disturb them. Isao was forced to obey Yori's wishes and left his room. Mari also read the diary, which contained Isao's life while still in his apartment. When reading the diary, Mari's body had an argument that made Mari lose her identity. In the past, Mari always watched Isao until she finally entered Isao's room and read the diary. After reading the diary, Mari seemed hypnotized by Isao's life. Because Mari was fed up with her own life, Mari finally created Isao's personality inside her. Switching to the present, Isao's personality created inside Mari's body helps Mari to be herself while still remembering Fumiko's personality created by her grandmother. Mari's personalities, Isao and Fumiko, then ask Mari to survive and be herself while promising they will always accompany Mari. Meanwhile, Yori looks worried because Mari is unconscious. Yori doesn't want to lose Isao's personality in Mari's body, because Isao's personality is what makes Mari and Yori close friends. Sometime later, Mari finally woke up with her true self, and Yori realized it. When she woke up, Mari heard the voices of Isao and Fumiko who promised not to leave Mari and would remain in her body. Mari, who has become herself, asks Yori to be her friend. A year later, we see Mari and her family getting along and loving each other. Isao has now found a full-time job at a repair shop to look forward to a better future. Meanwhile, Yori has started socializing with her friends at school, and Momoka has made up with Mari. At the end of the movie, it shows Mari and Yori say goodbye to each other because they will study in different places. The two of them finally parted ways and walk toward their respective destinations. The moral that can be learned from this movie is that the best friend is a friend who will not leave his friend alone on the toughest days.